Hello and welcome to this new version of Yak. That's version 013. And frankly, this is one of those versions. It's really a big one and I'm super happy with it. We have a new major feature, the splines, and then an obscene amount of new content, including a new Western DLC. All in all, we have 7 new dungeon themes, 1 new voxel theme, and hundreds, literally hundreds, of characters, creatures, and objects. The objects used in the new dungeon themes have also been put on trays, so for those of you who like to build, this should be a happy day. So I'm going to start with the new features. First, a few minor things. We have some new icons on the HUD to tell us the state of the mouse cursor. Also, the first and third person icons have been remade to be easier to read, and it also displays our speed in real time. And well, you can read the tooltips and the updated version of the introduction PDF to know more about that, but it's very easy. Also, we can now double-click the top bar of a window to reset only this window. So for example, let's say I messed up my home window somehow. I can just double-click its top bar to reset it to its default value, of position and size. Then we have the star of the show, namely the splines. And in fact, as always, it is so big that I'm not going to talk about it in this video because first, there is a new video tutorial dedicated to splines, so I encourage you to watch it to learn more about the subject. And second, there is a PDF document available in the spline window itself that should help you discover the subject. So just as a small instant pitch, splines are lines that can be dressed up with the three-dimensional models to create continuous complex objects. As a quick example here, we have a long bridge, and you can see that I can modify it very easily, even in the third dimension. So you can see it's quite easy. That gives you just a brief glance at what splines are, but you can imagine the power that lies behind that kind of tool. All right, so let's finally start with the new content. So first we have an army of 10 new demons, and each of those demons comes with 10 variations in color. So basically we have 100 new demons, okay, 10 by 10. So you can see that they are all quite beautiful. I particularly love the fat demon here. She's kind of amazing. Okay, so lots of them. Then we've got a new werewolf. Well, actually, this one and the Spider Queen right behind are not technically new because they are already were in the previous version, but I did not present them in the previous video because they were the only new content and it wasn't enough to justify speaking about some new content. So they were already here, but they are here presented for the first time officially. So we've got a new werewolf, and that one is very interesting. Again, it comes with a lot of variation, armored, naked, and so on. And it is very interesting because it's the first miniature in Yak that comes with 2 skeletons. So it's the same miniature but with 2 different skeletons, which means that it can behave both as a human and as a beast. So as a human, he's got all the human animation, and he can mount creatures, and he can be equipped with any sort of weapon. And as a beast, well, it's just a beast, so it can be ridden, it can be mounted by many by the other humans, and so on. So this is the only creature in Yak that can mount itself, so to speak. So that's something. Next we have a pseudo new Spider Queen, and it's really beautiful. I love the design with thin legs and so on, and it has a very nice precise killing animation. I like it very much. We have a new Minotaur, and it's amazing. I find it very beautiful, very impressive. It comes with, again, with a few variations. Then we've got 13 new orcs. Well, not exactly new. Six, I think, six of them were already in YAG for quite a long time, but they have been remade, so they are now more modular. We can take off the armor and stuff like that. And six or seven of them are completely new. So again, this is something I tell in every video, but do not forget to use this button here to get variations about the armor and the equipment of the miniatures. And one of them even comes with its own slave, which is cool. Well, not for the slave, but you know. Then we have some new orcish or barbarian props. Fence, totems, watchtowers, a large door, some tents, and I've made a dungeon theme, of course, out of them, so you will see it later in action, so to speak. We also have a few piles of bones, human bones and non-human bones. You can see the mammoth further away here. So very nice stuff to give some ambience to anything really. Then you've got some primitive, almost prehistoric settlement here, and I made a new dungeon theme out of them as well. So you will see them also in action in a few minutes. And finally, we have a new mammoth, and it is incredibly beautiful. I love that. I love that creature. I put a human next to him just to show you the scale of the beast. So very nice new creature, and it's very, very nicely animated as well. Okay, we've got two new trays full of new fire effects. So large fires and just ashes with smoke and things like that. And just to show you what it gives in action, you can see here a wooden house in flames. So you can see that the effect is really gorgeous, really nice. Then we have, of course, the new DLC, the new Western DLC that comes with a lot of props. I told you I put a lot of things on tray, so those of you who want to build, it's really nice. We've got two different kinds of houses, large wooden one and a more village-like one, like frontier, Mexican frontier or something like that in the old times. And also we've got some Indian tents, and I made 3 dungeon themes out of those stuff. I'm going to show you them later. We've got a new horse model, and it's a very cool one. I like it very much. And then we've got literally, I think there is 500 variations for all those pawns here in the DLC. So I'm going to show you that very quickly. So as far as objects are concerned, you can see that we've got lots of trays for the new houses, wagons, and fences, props, tents, and things like that. We've got the horses on a tray. We've got a few weapons, few rifles, revolver, lights, spears, tomahawk, and bows, dynamites, things like that. And finally, we've got all the new characters, and there is a whole bunch of them. There is about 40 variations per tray. So basically, each icon is one character. So you can see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 new characters, but they come with a ton of variation. And just to give you an example, the cowboy variation here, we've got 7 trays of them, going from very poor type cowboys, you can see, to more regular ones, okay, and up to very fancy suited ones, the rich guys here. And they all come with different hats, colors, clothes, and so on and so on and so on. Also very important, as always, again, the same button here will take off their hat. So that's a bit more variation available, and you can see they all have different hairs, beards, mustache, and stuff like that. So Again, lots of character. Same for basically all the figurines. You can see the girl here that comes in many different variations, and it's pretty much the same for all the new figurines. So all in all, we have I think something like 400 or 500 of variation just with those ones. So very nice full DLC here. Next, we've got a new graveyard that is very interesting. I made a dungeon theme out of it as well. A very nice one. You've got the crypts and so on. So we will see it later. We got a few props to be used with splines, you know, roads and paths and things like that. And you probably notice in the background also a new castle, massive one, you know, that comes with houses, church, towers, walls, many things that you can use with splines. And again, we are going, of course, to see it on a save in a few seconds. So, all right, this is it for the object. Now, let me show you very quickly the new cemetery. I put it in a swamp. You can see that it's a very beautiful theme. Okay, lots of variation, and it's very interesting to play because it has some relief. You know, you can hide behind the creeps and so on. So very nice one. Now the one I want is that one. Next, we've got the primitive settlement. That could be a prehistoric stuff. So the border here are done with a spline, so I could easily adjust them. But you can see I put a few tribal guys. I put two mammoth, and this is basically the dungeon thing. So it's a very simple one with a few, you know, primitive tents and few bone piles and stuff like that. But it works quite well when put in the right setting. So again, nice one. Then we've got the very beautiful orc camp, and this one. The interior of the camp is the dungeon, is the simple dungeon out of the box. So this is one click basically. But the surrounding walls is made of two combined splines, one for the fence, the wooden fence here, and another one for the watchtowers. And you can see that we've got a very nice result. And all of this can be done in less than 10 minutes if you know what you're doing. Okay, so very nice barbarian or orcish camp here. Okay, and I put a little sunset here. You can see that it's really beautiful. Okay, then we have the new castle. And again, it is massive and it is absolutely beautiful. Same thing here. This one is not a dungeon theme. I mean, there is a dungeon theme for this one, but it's not very interesting. I put it because, you know, I have to put a dungeon. I have to make a dungeon thing out of a castle. But this one is made entirely manually. I put a keep at the center, as you can see it, and I put manually a few houses. They are all on trays, church and so on. And again, there is a door here that again is on a tray. And again, the whole surrounding walls is made of two splines, one spline for the wall and one spline, a different one for the towers. Okay, so again, this can be done very quickly, and I put a few ruins aside. So you can see this is a very oh, there are some guys here. I have forgotten them. So this is a very beautiful, massive medieval castle, and I think the house have interiors too. Okay, so you can this can make a pretty rich setup. You can walk on the wall, of course, and so on and so on. You have to watch the video about the splines to see the power of that tool. So that's for the castle. Next, we have a new voxel theme, which is a semi-arid desert camp that came um, with the Western pack that one of the Western packs that I bought. And as you can see, it's really nice. I'm going to maybe to put a bit of light. So this is of course a night camp. I'm going to put a bit of light here so you can see it better in better conditions. So let's put back here and here regular light. Okay, so you can see how nice it is. We have some cactuses, dead trees, a nice relief. You know, small like small mountains and stuff like that. So very, very nice new terrain. Next, we have the Western Indian Camp. Again, it's a new dungeon theme, so this is made practically in one click. You know, I mean, the camp itself is one click. And I have set up here. By the way, all those maps will be. I will put all those maps on the Discord, on the YAG Discord server, so you can download all those maps and reload them very, very easily. So again, this is a minute setup. You know, the dungeon is one click. It was very quick to create a terrain, paint it, and remove the foliage at the center and so on. And you can see that in less than 10 to 15 minutes, you can have a nice setup. I put a few minutes an Indian war here going on. You've got the horse and so on. So it works quite well, actually. Okay, then we've got the first Western town. Well, I'm going to start with a Western village because it's less impressive than than the town. So you can see we've got some small stone houses. So it really suited like a border, a frontier, like sort of Mexican frontier stuff in the old Wild West. Um, so there we go, a few houses, white, painted in white, and so on. And finally, we've got the Western town itself, which is it's the same dungeon with just a different theme, so it's the same layout here, but you can see that it is absolutely beautiful. So we've got long streets of wooden giant houses. You've got a few, people on horses, few cowboys and cowgirls here. I think I did put a few characters, yes. So you can see inside a house. You can play inside a house. We are inside a hostel, but there is a saloon, there is some stuff like that. So again, very rich setting here and very, very fun probably to play. I think this is it. So I'm gonna stop the video here. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and if it's the case, then see you as always with pleasure in the next video. Thank you. Bye.